Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerd Agenda. And we're here for episode 5. I'm Jack.
I think it's episode 4.
Episode 4. I'm already messing that up. And yeah.
And I'm Levi. We'll be your hosts for today. Today, what's our topic, Jack?
We are talking about magic systems in different forms of media.
Woohoo! All
Pretty
right.
epic. We're going to go over a bunch that we really like and dislike, and we're going to kind of like talk about we're going to compare and contrast them to each other.
Yeah. I think we should start with the one that we both dislike. I mean, this isn't for everyone, this one specifically. It's for a lot of people, but
we don't like it.
Not a fan. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
This might be controversial, but hold on to your horses.
Yeah, for real. So I've read a couple of the books and I've watched the movies, and I don't know if it gets more in depth than just wave your wand and say the words, which I'm sure there's some sort of like special thing you have to do with your wand, like
yeah.
But it doesn't. It's just.
I mean, I played the Lego Harry Potter games. You had to move the stylus around the DS properly to cast a spell. So I don't know if that counts, but
for me, I hate when you just have unlimited magic.
Yeah, I do too. It's like it feels lazy. It's like, yeah, you could just do whatever you want for no reason. And then in Harry Potter specifically, it's like the Muggles. I don't think I should say that. That's an inappropriate term.
Hey. We don't say, we aren't mean to people like that here.
Yeah, so
gotta be PC,
the
bro.
The magic ungifted, we'll call them that. The magic ungifted. Why are they magic ungifted? Why do some people have magic
and some people
don't? I don't remember reading any reason about that, but I could just be wrong. It's been like years since I read it.
If there's like a specific reason for that, that would make more sense. But if it's just kind of like a random chance, I mean, that's kind of the same thing with actually one of our other ones, Star Wars. Like, it's just kind of a random chance.
Well, for that one, there is specifically something in your blood. We learned the midichlorians, which are passed down, and some people just learn to train and use them.
Right, and it also depends on how many midichlorians you have.
Yeah. So back to Harry Potter.
Yeah, sorry, we'll
go back to Star Wars in a minute. Which, yes, I do consider that a magic system.
It's magic.
So
it's magic. It's space magic.
Space magic. So with Harry Potter, it's like I'm not exactly sure where their magic comes from, which is my biggest problem.
I'm sure if we read the books or something, maybe we would know more about it. But but they just don't particularly interest me.
I watched the movies and then, like, pretty recently too. Me and my family watched them, and it just. I didn't see anything about it.
It's like, we're not hating on Harry Potter. Everyone can love what they want to love. Disclaimer before we continue this episode. If we say something about your fandom that you don't like,
well,
that's our opinion. That's too bad.
Yeah,
you can still love it.
Stop listening to us and avoid our opinion.
Exactly. You can still love your fandom. That's totally fine.
Yeah. Well, we don't care what you like.
Exactly. So, anyways, yeah, Harry Potter. I just wish we would know they would go more in depth into like what magic is, where it comes from, or
the limits of it.
The limits of it,
feels like you can pretty much just do anything except for some things for some reason.
For some reason, it's like, is there some sort of stamina system there? It's just not explained very well. They don't put a lot of in-depth stuff in it from the media I've seen. Obviously, I haven't read all the books. Maybe there's more in there.
Yeah, and I haven't read like any of the spin-offs or watched the spin-off movies or whatever.
Exactly. Anyways,
our next magic system, Star Wars.
Let's talk about Star Wars. Since we already have Star Wars on the mind, so
let's do that.
Basic magic system, or the basic way it works. People have midichlorians. The more midichlorians you have, the more sensitive you are to the Force, and the more you can manipulate it.
Yep.
And like to be accepted as a Jedi, you have to have a certain amount of midichlorians, or else they won't take you in. Obviously, because you don't have as much manipulation over the Force. I don't know if you can actually like grow the amount of midichlorians you have. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It would be interesting. Maybe midichlorian transplant, etc. One problem that I have with the Force is that it's very undefined.
That's true.
Like while it is cool to have magic systems that aren't defined that much, like, where did Force lightning come from?
Right.
How come only the Sith Lords can do that? Or why does why can people do Force choking? what exactly does that mean? Like, if it's just a force that's coming off you, can you? I don't know.
Right. So it looks like you cannot increase your midichlorian count even with blood transfusions. Apparently, they tried to do that to General Grievous, and he gained no benefits from it.
Okay,
so,
but then again, he is mostly metal. I mean, let's be real on
right.
that.
For real. So, but you can like hone your skills with the force and that sort of thing, but you just can't increase your midichlorian count, which kind of sucks. But
yeah,
it's interesting. Sorry, what were you just talking about? I got distracted.
I was talking about how.
Like where stuff comes from and how it's not defined, like how you unlock those abilities and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot to like Jedi training that, for at least from the media I've seen, I'm sure it goes super in depth because there's so much Star Wars media out there.
There's
compared
a lot
to
of
like
Star Wars
Harry Potter, what we were just talking about. Like Harry Potter has a decent amount of media.
It's quite a few books. It has a lot of like spin-offs and stuff. But
Star Wars has been around forever and has so much media. I'm sure if we went in depth into it, really in depth, we could find what we're like asking about right now. One thing I really love about Star Wars I've been looking into recently is like Old Republic stuff. The Force magic there is insane. Like, I mean, look at Darth Nihilus, who literally just eats planets.
Yep.
That's just crazy.
Probably the Force.
He's a wound in the Force, actually, which I think is a super cool thing. And like, so it's like it's very diverse. There's so much content and so much like just there's a lot about the Force.
There's a lot about the Force,
and that's what I think makes it really fun. Is it's super in depth. There's lots of different things that they talk about with it, and there's so much to explore, so much content with it. I think that makes it way more fun.
Yeah, I feel like if Harry Potter maybe had more just things going on for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if it had a book all about, like, maybe if they released, like, a class list for Hogwarts, that could be really cool. That could be cool. A lot of fun.
And, like, going in depth into, like, the types of magic and what certain spells do, like, specifically, and, like, how spells were created, like, how do you know
how did they find it?
Exactly.
How were wands figured out?
Exactly. All that sort of stuff. And like, I think it's really, I don't know if this is a thing that actually happens in Harry Potter, but like wandless casting.
I don't know. I don't think you can necessarily.
I don't know if you can.
I would like to learn more about the enchanted items, because in Harry Potter there is enchanted items.
There is a lot of those.
Where do they come from?
Exactly.
Can you just enchant items, or does it have to be like a big process?
That's interesting to think about. So like Harry Potter could be a lot better. Anyways, so Star Wars, Force, really in depth, lots of content.
I would say it's one of the
lots of different abilities. Easily one of the coolest things. I guess a side note is Night Sister magic. Not sure if that's some sort of Force ability or if it's just magic.
I personally would guess that it's somehow related to the Force and midichlorians,
because they are definitely
just my headcanon, I guess.
Right, like they're definitely related to the dark side of the Force.
Yeah,
for sure,
definitely,
for sure. So I'm sure it's some sort of offset, like of the dark side,
or maybe it's just like species magic.
It could be something to do with that, because I think
like maybe like Superman, how he's from a different planet and something affects him. Could be like that, but I don't see a lot of that in Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to look more into that specifically. But the Force, very fun one. I would definitely love to have the Force.
So like mind reading, all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool.
Like the Force Lightning and the Force Justice are I think that's what that's called for the or no, it's Force something else. Judgment. Which is the yellow lightning that the Jedi can use or something like that. So like, see, it's really cool because you got like good and bad versions of all the.
One thing that I do not appreciate with Star Wars is like the Force dream teleportation that happened in the new movies, where it's like, what? Why didn't they like? Where did that come from?
Yo, Ray, how are you?
That is one thing that I wish that they would have like gone more in depth with how that worked.
Right, because they had some sort of like, what is it? I can't remember what
sort of bond.
Yeah, I can't remember what they specifically call it, because they had a name for it, but like I don't remember what that was. But yeah, no. So they had some. I don't know. If it has been in other Star Wars media, I haven't seen it, so I don't know what that would be.
I've never heard or seen of it before, and I know that a lot of people were kind of like mad about it. It's like,
what
dude,
is this? Why can't my favorite characters have force FaceTime calls, and
Yeah.
you get to what the heck, bro?
Yeah, why didn't they just tell Anakin not to go to the dark side?
For real, dog. Yo, hey, someone's ringing me. Hold up. Hey, what's up, Obi-Wan? Hey, don't go to the dark side. Oh, okay, thanks.
Got you.
Like that. Anyways,
Yeah. Or like, I feel like whenever they figured out that Palpatine was the bad guy of the series, they could have been like, quick guys, Palpatine's the bad guy.
Right, exactly.
But
send out some sort of beacon, but there's no communication.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
See what? Yeah, if I don't know, they had to have the Jedi fall and stuff because I guess they made them 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. They have to set it up for failure. It has to be.
But it just kind of changes it whenever you go in and you're like, here's this ability that these people have, but for not a specified reason.
Oh, it's called a Force Dyad. I think is what it's called. So I think it has to do something with them somehow being they're not related, but
somehow they're linked by destiny.
Somehow they're linked by destiny. Exactly. So it's that's kind of a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But
Definitely.
Anyways, so lots of force abilities, lots of fun stuff.
What should we talk about next?
We could talk about a couple anime ones.
Yeah.
The anime has a lot of interesting, different styles of magic.
To be fair, for the listeners, there's a lot of people that love Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter. I don't know if that X is there or what.
Yeah, I've never watched that one.
I've watched part of it. Didn't like it a lot. I didn't really get to see a lot of the magic system, but I've heard that it's one of the best magic systems.
That's interesting. We'll have to look into that one.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that.
We can talk about Naruto.
Yeah, let's talk about Naruto.
So Naruto, I love that show.
I like that show.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, no, it's they don't go super in depth with their magic. I mean, sometimes they do. I mean, there's a lot of it's
I mean, there's the ninjutsu, what was it? It's been a long time.
It's been a minute. So actually, no, they do go pretty in depth. What am I saying?
Yeah.
So it's how you're is it your chakra?
Chakra.
Yeah. How you use it move your chakra around your body and around and outside of your body. So the Rasengan, when they're teaching that, that's super cool. That's super sick, dude. And just learning how to use your chakra.
I like the summoning jutsu.
The summoning jutsu, yeah, that's pretty sick. I love that one too. And then I like the whole thing with having the 9-tailed fox in your body and being able to use
being able to seal things into other people.
That's super cool.
That's kind of sick.
They have lots of fun, really diverse and interesting magic in Naruto. But then you were saying this earlier. It's a lot of it's forbidden, and then people just use it anyways.
Yeah, it's what's the point of calling it forbidden if everyone uses it? I don't think there's a single character in it that hasn't used a forbidden jutsu.
For real,
even Rock Lee, the character who can't use any jutsus. He uses his body jutsu. It's forbidden, but it's it only hurts him.
Exactly. It's why are you using that? Your master told you not to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so there's a lot of contradictions there, but it's still really fun. I think
that if maybe the Japanese word that they use isn't forbidden or something. Maybe it's
it must be some sort of.
It might just be a translation error.
Yeah, it's
but
you're not allowed to do this unless this specific situation,
or maybe it's even just secretive techniques or something secret techniques, not forbidden techniques.
That's true. It could be
that could be more it. I don't speak a lot of Japanese, so I don't know.
I don't speak any, so whatever you speak is more than me.
Yeah.
So no, Naruto, pretty fun one. I think those ones are pretty cool.
Yeah,
and definitely. Then also the special abilities from each clan, the Sharingan, dude.
Which
that's
you have
sick.
To wonder though, how did they make those up? Because it's the same. It's the same with Harry Potter. How are they out there making jutsus?
Exactly.
I think Orochimaru says something I'm gonna go make jutsus, and you're how?
Right. Which I think is really cool though, because it shows a character's journey in trying to learn that and then failing, and so it's
but they are trying
exactly, and so it kind of shows that maybe the people who did make them are extremely powerful, more powerful than we could even imagine.
That's true,
and so it's
probably more powerful than the 3 sages, was it, or the 3 great?
Yeah, the sages. Those 3 guys. Who is it?
It was Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya.
Yeah, that's right. What are they called? I can't remember.
The Sannin. Oh yeah, Sannin. Sannin means in Japanese, it's 3 people.
Right.
So,
yeah. It's the 3 students of the third stage, I think.
The Hokage.
The third Hokage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, so it's like, yeah, and I mean, the Hokage are the most powerful people on the planet, according to that. Or
well,
whatever.
not just the Hokage. There's also like all the different Kages.
That's true. Yeah, the Hokage and those people of those level.
Yeah.
But they still can't make jutsus. So
yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
Who invented that? Or maybe they can. We don't know.
And where did the Hokage use the one where he like summoned the devil or whatever?
That's
where
right.
where did that come from?
That was crazy.
that was sick.
That was some of the most mind blowing.
Yeah, of course. One problem I have with a lot of anime is they're very long.
That's true.
And a lot of things don't need to be double shown. But you know, that's what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, I'm sure when you are watching it episode to episode as it's coming out, it makes more sense to do a little recap.
Yeah, but nowadays with like streaming services where you can just binge it all, it's a little bit repetitive. I would say. Yeah. The next anime one we have is Full Metal Alchemist. You haven't seen this.
I haven't seen this one.
I will say it's a pretty cool system, and I've kind of lumped Chainsaw Man in with it, but they're not quite the same. So basically, it's you give something to get something. In Full Metal Alchemist, you could use like a metal coin, to make something different out of metal, like a small knife that's the size of a coin, kind of.
Then who do you give it to? That's the thing.
What do you mean?
Like, so if you give something to get something, who are you giving to, and who are you getting from?
You have to use something around you in order to use the power to make something. And then you also have to have a transmutation circle to use the ability to transmute it into something else.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the whole show is called Full Metal Alchemist.
It's very cool. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest you go watch it or read it.
Do that.
Either way. The reason I say Chainsaw Man is kind of similar is because you've seen Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
But the characters, they have to give up maybe a part of their body, maybe
like
etc.
It really depends.
Part of their soul, kind of.
I know one of the characters.
Yeah.
One of the characters, like he would, if he used his sword a couple of times, like every time it would take away part of his life.
Yeah, then he would, whenever he summoned the fox, it would take some of his skin somewhere or something. I really like give something to get something.
And something I really love about Chainsaw Man is they go super in depth with their magic and their stuff like that, even though they only have one season right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's another season coming. I hope there is.
I really hope there is.
Very good.
I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. More anime stuff. One Piece. I haven't seen One Piece.
Very good. So I'm like the anime person here. I'm more of the anime representation at this nerd cast.
Wow. Okay. So I'm just kidding. No, you're right. You're right.
I would say I've seen a lot more than you.
Oh, for sure.
So One Piece. There are 2 distinct magic systems. I think there could be more, but there's what's called the Devil Fruit and Haki. Basically, it's spelled Haki, not H.
Yeah, not the sport.
But basically, the devil fruits, you eat a devil fruit and then you gain a power. And if you die and have the devil fruit, then the devil fruit is popped up somewhere else in the world.
Oh, so other people can
constant
take the
cycle.
Power. Okay.
Yeah. I really like the devil fruits. They have 3 different distinct types. I don't remember their names right now.
So if you kill someone who has a devil fruit ability, they'll die. But like it doesn't pop up where they are. It
doesn't pop up where they are necessally.
But you can technically hunt for devil fruits.
Yeah, you can hunt for devil fruits later. This is a spoiler. There are devil fruits that are manufactured by man, and they're not good. I'll say that. But there's the second system of magic is Haki, and basically it's kind of like the chi from Naruto, where but it's more like the physical one. Kind of. You just basically can enhance your physical abilities.
Okay, so it's egoic magic. Basically.
Yeah, egoic magic. We just looked that up earlier.
Exactly.
So
we aren't that nerdy. I mean,
we're kind of, but not necessarily. We're more nerds about just a lot of topics. books.
That's
I would
true.
say than like
And
one
we enjoy
topic.
talking about it. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
definitely.
Anyways, yeah. So egoic magic, basically.
Yeah, enhance yourself.
That's cool.
It's very cool. I enjoy it a lot.
And so like, give us some examples of some like devil fruit abilities. Like,
okay,
so you got the egoic magic, right? That's like more like pandering to your
more
body,
based on yourself.
Does devil fruits like take it more farther like into farther away from reality?
Yeah, so devil fruits are like the far away from reality. I mean, hockey is already pretty far away from reality,
that's fair,
to be honest. But with devil fruits, it's like some people can turn their body into smoke. That's a bad guy. His body was smoke. There's another type of devil fruit where you're like you gain aspects of animals or mythical creatures, etc.
Okay.
Let's see. There's one more type. I can't quite remember what it is. One Piece fandom's gonna hate me for this. But it's a really cool system. I enjoy it. That's cool. Very far removed from reality, but
that's how magic's supposed to be.
Magic is supposed to be far removed from reality.
Yeah. Okay. Then we also had JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right? That's another one I haven't seen.
Yeah. So with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, basically, I'm not exactly sure, but a lot of characters are born with like energy in their souls or something.
Okay.
And they could use that, and in the later seasons, it gets a little cooler because I've only seen the anime. I've read one of the books.
Okay.
But you can use what's called a stand, and it's like it's like an ethereal version of your internalness. If that makes sense.
Like of your spirit.
Yeah, like some characters have ones that can stop time. Some have them that can. Some evolve over time.
That's crazy.
It's really cool. It's very cool.
That's interesting. Okay, I guess we could also lump in Avatar: The Last Airbender to this.
Don't add us though, because we know Avatar is not an anime.
We know
it's a Western show.
We know it's a Western show, but it's a cartoon.
Yeah. So I want to say, at the beginning, they do show a bunch of the kanji. I can't tell if it's Chinese. I think it's Chinese, not Japanese, but it is there. So they do take influence from from Eastern countries.
Eastern stuff. Yeah. But like, I think the whole idea of bending is really cool. I kind of wish there was some sort of stamina. I think there's some sort of stamina system to it.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Right, and like I think it's interesting that it's all skill based too. I like that, and you can't just instantly lift up a massive rock. Like you have to build your skill and your physical stamina. I mean, you've seen some of the characters, especially earthbenders, struggle when lifting large rocks with their earthbending, right? Yep. So, and like bigger ones can do more rocks. So it is linked to your physical stamina in that sort of sense. I also think it's really cool that benders can interact with each other while bending. So like multiple water benders can bend the same body of water. I think that's super sick.
It's a lot easier to bend or whatever.
Exactly. So you can like team bend stuff, which I think is super cool.
Yep.
Honestly, like that's kind of like the first show I watched a lot as a kid, and so I've always loved that sort of bending magic stuff. Kind of wish we got some backstory into like where it came from. I know they talk a little bit where it comes from the animals. They learned the bending from the animals. So, like the dragons taught them fire bending,
and like the bison moles taught them earth bending.
Yeah, moles taught them earth bending. The bison taught them air bending. I don't know who taught water bending. I can't remember.
Probably some fish of
some sort of fish. But yeah, like that's super cool.
Maybe the penguins, because like
that's true, huh?
But because they're in the cold areas,
they are.
Maybe one of the colder water fish or something.
But yeah, I want to see some sort of backstory to all that and where bending like.
I think that there are books. I don't know how much in depth they go, but it's pretty interesting.
Avatar could have so much more expansion to it. We're not talking about Legend of Korra. That stuff is kind of stupid. Like it gets into a lot more of like the spirit stuff.
I didn't like how like it was Avatar, and then all of a sudden it was like New York.
Exactly.
Pretty much. Like it's like what?
It's cool to see that
time doesn't go that fast.
But like it's not that fast. I think it's really cool also to see the like people expanding on their bending. So like getting to metal bending, even lava bending, like that sort of stuff. That's pretty sick that you can expand upon what you know and have already.
I will say though, water bending makes me angry because you have on one side blood bending. It takes so much effort. You have to have the specific moon and all that. But at the same time, you have this guy over here in the swamp just bending these plants.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, plants don't just have water. They kind of do turn that into something else.
Right.
So,
that's sort of
it's
like,
kind of similar to blood in a sense.
Yeah, it's like that. So that doesn't make sense.
Why exactly? I mean, I think it would be harder to bend plants because they're less just water.
That's true.
Blood is mostly water.
Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know about that one.
Blood, your body is like.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
water,
your body is like 70% water. That's fair.
So
that is
so your
fair,
blood
actually.
is mostly water.
Yeah.
And
so
it's liquid anyway.
It's like, yeah, why are you gonna have trouble with that when
maybe it's because they're alive, but
that's
plants
true,
are
because
alive.
maybe something with a will and like sentient, maybe that's harder to bend because
they're constantly struggling against you.
They're struggling against you, and like whereas a plant kind of just vibes.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
they do move, but
right. We can get more in depth into how plants work, but like at the same time, I think it could be easier to do plants than people and animals just because of sentience.
That's true. I wasn't thinking about that,
right?
But that is a good point.
Okay. What do we want to go to next?
Let's go to Eragon.
Okay,
you said you really like this system. I haven't read Eragon.
Right. So Eragon is part of a 4-book series called The Inheritance Cycle. I've read the series like 3 or 4 times. I love it. It's amazing. I love how their magic works. Basically, there's an ancient language that all the elves speak.
Yep.
And the ancient language, the words in the ancient language are the like true names of objects and stuff like that. And so in order to manipulate objects, to cast spells and sort of things, you need to know their true names in the language, be able to speak it correctly. And then it's also tied to your physical and mental stamina. And so if you can't you cannot keep up a spell or keep casting too many spells without your stamina being drained. And you could kill yourself if you put too much of your energy into a spell. Because it will draw energy off of you, so you need to know when to cut energy off and stop giving your spell energy from you. It's also interesting too because a big part of the series is like dragons and dragon riders. They can draw on energy from their dragons to help them cast spells. Obviously, with the dragons, like approval and like consent and stuff like that, they can. Yeah, we're all consensual here, guys, right?
only people that do consensual things can be on this. Can be fans of this podcast.
We are not fans of people who do not.
Non-con bad.
Non-con bad. Anyways, so you can draw upon power from your dragons or from other people who are lending you their energy as well to cast bigger spells. So the whole thing with the ancient language, I think, is super cool. And all the elves speak ancient language, so all the elves can harness magic and are taught to, and they are naturally like attuned to magic, whereas humans normally, I don't think they can cast magic at all unless you are like taught specifically or something like that. There's some weird thing. It's been a little bit since I've read it, but I really enjoyed learning all that and stuff. And so like if you find the true name of certain objects, sometimes it brings out special abilities in them. So like later in the series, Eragon forges a dragon rider sword and he names it Brissinger, which is the name for fire in the Elvish language, and it's the true name of the sword, he discovers. And so when he speaks its name, it lights the sword on fire.
It's like very cool.
Sick as like balls, dude. It's awesome. Anyways, so I really enjoy Eragon magic. I had a lot of fun reading those books. Definitely recommend.
I will definitely try to get copies of them.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I should mention. I just looked back at our list and saw One Piece, and I was like, there's one more thing that I forgot. It does have drawbacks, so it's not all like just go have fun with your new powers permanently.
Right.
You do lose the ability to swim in the ocean or just in water. So
wait, really?
Yeah.
Like, so if
you eat a devil fruit.
If you eat a devil fruit, you cannot swim.
Yes.
That's weird. I guess isn't One Piece like based off of like pirates and stuff?
Yep, it's the ocean.
Okay,
so there is drawbacks to the magic system.
So
I wanted to bring that in because
I wasn't huge drawback. Whoa.
Yeah.
Walk the plank and you just drown. You have no choice. You have to drown.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's weird. That's interesting.
And you lose your powers while you're in water. I'm pretty sure. So.
So you become extremely hydrophobic.
Yep.
Interesting.
Want to make sure that we're giving negatives for all of them.
That's right, because I feel like if magic doesn't have a drawback, it's just too overpowered.
Yep, absolutely.
It's too overpowered. I guess we can touch on Dungeons and Dragons and kind of Magic the Gathering together. They both have different systems of Magic, both kind of the same like nerd fandom, though I feel like.
Yeah, that's like the similar fandoms.
Right, yeah. So I like Dungeons and Dragons and how they implement Magic in a way where you can play it as a character on pen and paper. Definitely, it's very very scaled back compared to a lot of like shows and video games.
It is a deep like. You have to kind of jump off the deep end to remember Magic systems in D&D, so it can be difficult.
It can be crazy, and there's tons of spells.
Yeah, tons of spells.
But I love that they scale back on the amount of like spell slots you have. Obviously, it can get really annoying if you're playing a game, but I think that helps simplify it a bunch and make it a lot easier to play. We're specifically talking about 5e. I don't know. I haven't played 4th, 3rd, 2nd. I haven't played any of the older editions. I have some of the handbooks from 4th edition, but it is crazy. There's a reason why people don't play 4th edition. Because, like, one round of combat, or, like, not one round, but, like, one combat encounter could take you hours. Because of how crazy that stuff gets.
For whenever I run 5e games, my combat does take a while as well, but it's because I'm a noob, not because the combat is strange.
Yeah, no, you'll have to look into 4th edition stuff, dude. It is insane. And, like, usually because so I guess what was I gonna say? 5th edition balances combat and roleplay a lot, whereas 4th edition very much focuses on just combat and a lot less on roleplay. So that's why combat takes so long, because it's so intricate how the combat systems work. Anyways, so we're getting we're getting sidetracked over here. But
anyway, the magic system
is super.
It's just as you would imagine. You cast spells. If you cast too many spells, you need to wait a while.
Right, you need to wait a day or long rest. Long rest, short rest, depending on the spell.
I think usually it's like long rest heals everything, and that's 8 hours.
Right, yeah, and then a short rest is 4 hours, so I can do like very, very few spells or special abilities. I also like that they have special abilities that you can use with any
different
character.
Race, different class, etc.
All that sort of stuff. Like it's a lot more basic than some of these crazy things on shows, which I think makes it more fun for people to play.
Yeah, and you don't have to be like, oh, what was this? Right. I want to cast this spell, but to cast this spell, I need to have my feet under the ground.
So like, yeah, no, it's a lot more simple for people to play, but then you can also expand upon it excuse me. Obviously one of the biggest things about D&D is make it your own.
Homebrew. A lot of fun.
It's super fun. I guess Magic the Gathering, then I think it's just how the game works.
Yeah, for a game named Magic, there isn't really a magic system.
I mean, the entire thing is just summoning, but it's a card game. For people who don't know, and you're playing as a planeswalker, quote unquote, right? Yep. You're a planeswalker. You're fighting someone else. You use what's called mana to summon creatures to fight for you, or spells, or enchantments and stuff like that. And they're all in the forms of cards, obviously, and that's how the game works.
And the cards will have different abilities depending on what you summon.
Exactly. A lot of people label it as a card game, and it is a card game. But like a lot of people forget too that the basic of like the basics of the game, like you are a mage, you are casting spells. I think that's super cool,
and I think that they should teach that more whenever like you're reading an instruction on it.
That helps me a lot.
It adds a lot of fun to the game.
It doesn't just add fun too, but it also helps me understand how things are working. So like a big thing I've always struggled with is like the stack. Like what's the word? Goodness gracious! Like when cards resolve. And stuff like that. Resolving different abilities and sort of things. Like you got to think about, okay, what order are you casting these spells in, that sort of thing. If you're just thinking about the cards, it's kind of hard. But if you kind of like step back and it's like, okay, well, what if I'm casting a spell? That helps me. That helps me a lot personally. But I think it's super fun. I love Magic the Gathering. W game.
Definitely.
I highly recommend. If you don't play it right now, definitely learn. It's super fun. Don't learn like how I did. Like, don't just like look at it and be like, oh, I think this is how you play. No, like talk to someone who knows how to play and let them teach you.
It's if you try to learn on your own, like, and just you see the card and you're like, oh, this is what this does. It's not what you think.
It's not
Trust
what you think. Magic is so complex.
I think it's officially like the world's most complex game.
It's one of the most complex card games for sure. I agree. let's see, what else do we have on our list? We have, I guess, Skyrim.
Okay, we can talk about video games.
Yeah, we just put Skyrim down as a video game, but like,
because we both play Skyrim,
right?
It's
Skyrim,
a good game.
Is pretty good, despite all the bugs.
The bugs make it better.
Exactly.
So the magic system with video games, typically you'll have an FP bar, which shows you how much you can use.
Right, FP or MP, depending on what you're playing. So mana points, like, how much mana you have.
Mm-hmm. Typically the spells are normal spells you would see in fantasy, like Fireball or etc.
It takes MP to cast spells. MP will either naturally regenerate, or you have to take like potions to regenerate your mana.
Yeah,
it just depends on what you're playing. Which I think is super fun. I think I think both styles. So I've only really ever played styles where it regenerates your mana for you. So the first time playing Elden Ring, I was like, wait, why isn't anything regenerating? Hold up, I have to take these flasks. What?
Yeah, Elden Ring does an interesting take, because not only does it take mana, it also takes endurance to cast spells, which is, I think, is interesting. Other things in the Soulsborne series, Dark Souls 1, they have magic where you can cast it, but it doesn't take from FP. You have a limited use per thing, and then whenever you rest at the bonfire, then it regenerates that. So that's an interesting take on it.
Yeah, no, so there's lots of different magic systems in video games. Lots of different ones.
It's hard to pinpoint certain ones. I mean, the Legend of Zelda series, there's like so many games, they all play different, so you can't like pinpoint a magic system.
Exactly.
But yeah, like Super Mario, I would count that.
Really?
I would count that as a magic system.
I guess it's got
you eat a mushroom, you eat a power up.
Yep, you get the ability until you get hit, and then you lose it. Very, very basic. But yeah, no, a lot of video games like use kind of magic, or even just egoic magic.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun stuff. Video games are fun. I guess the last two we kind of had on there. Oh, the last three. Percy Jackson, I think, is super fun.
Yeah.
I haven't read a lot of them.
I would recommend reading them. They're very good. I think a new book recently released. I haven't read it yet. Planning to. It's for one of the side characters in the Percy Jackson series.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, you're born as a god's child, half human, half god, half whatever, half god.
You're a demigod.
As long as you're demigod, you're fine. But basically, you inherit different powers. Some races, like Cyclopses, inherit different abilities from different people. I think in the book there's Percy Jackson's brother, who is a Cyclops, and he gets different abilities from Percy Jackson.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, see, no, I think that's super cool, bringing like the Greek gods, the Greek pantheon into it, and I think they also bring in the Roman pantheon, right?
So there's Percy Jackson, that brings in Greek, and then there's what's it called?
Oh wait, no, I remember.
There's a second series.
There's a different series.
It does have Percy Jackson in it, so it is the same world. And it's the Romans, and then they have the Magnus Chase, which is a third one. They do the Norse gods.
Oh,
and it is related to them. Magnus Chase is actually Annabeth Chase is the main girl in Percy Jackson. He's her cousin.
Oh, okay.
But he's Norse.
Okay.
Let's see. There's more books. I can't remember them.
Okay.
There's the Apollo series.
Oh, I think one of the Egyptian ones?
Oh, that one's different. But yes, there is the Egyptian ones. I don't think that's related to Percy Jackson, but it might be in the same world.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's a lot of them for all the different fantasy.
It's very good.
That stuff used to be the shit back in the day.
Everyone
used to read those books and be like, if you don't know what this is, you're an outcast.
You're outcast. Yeah.
So I didn't know what it was, so I read some of them. I think I read more of the ones from the Roman pantheon one, though.
Oh yeah.
I just don't remember what they were called.
Yeah, I can't remember their name.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. It was a good series though.
It was good.
Definitely check out the whole Percy Jackson schlang bang of everything.
The universe,
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, fun stuff. I guess as a little side note, we threw in like Doctor Strange for like time magic specifically. I liked Doctor Strange's magic.
I like Doctor Strange's magic. I mean, it wasn't only time magic.
That's true.
But
he has all the magic. Like
another thing though with Doctor Strange is he doesn't have like a limit necessarily.
Right. That's another thing.
Or like not a defined limit. I mean,
right.
sure, it would look like he was struggling to do it, but like, what's the extent of that?
Exactly. And I mean, we also have to remember too that he's Sorcerer Supreme. He's extremely powerful. But like, still, everyone has limits, or they should.
They should have limits of some sort.
I don't know. I like the Mirror Realm stuff with Doctor Strange. I think that's kind of cool.
That was definitely fun.
I mean, it's pretty unique, I'm sure, to that sort of thing. But anyway, so Doctor Strange, Doctor Who. Okay, so Doctor Who.
We are debating on whether this is a magic system or not, because it's technology.
It's a lot of technology.
But it is kind of a magic system in a way. But like, I would classify it more like Back to the Future.
Yeah, extremely advanced technology.
Advanced technology where you can change the past, etc.
Right. And so, like, his whole, like, I think it's this, like, electric screwdriver thing that he has.
It's been I haven't
He's got a screwdriver that, like, does a bunch of stuff. But yeah, no, like, that seems a lot more like technology than magic. Originally, I was like, oh, it's magic. No, it's not. No.
Yeah, I think it's technology, but I think it's good to bring it up because there is a fine line between technology and magic, but at most of the time, it's crossed pretty frequently.
It gets crossed a lot, especially if you look in like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
It gets crossed over
or
so much.
Anything with a lot of future technology, like Marvel. They use nanobots to make all their helmets and all that kind of stuff. Like Iron Man does that. But let's be real, it's kind of like magic because I don't think you could make that in real life.
Exactly, it's just so far removed from reality. It's like it's really not real. But
definitely.
Anyways, I think that's all we had.
We also have Disney.
That's right.
We're going to talk about Disney. That's the last one on our list.
Just Disney magic in general, it all sucks.
Yeah.
Like Elsa, Moana, Pocahontas. Yeah, it's all just.
Wait, where does their magic come from?
It's their typical run of the mill magic.
Mulan does it well. Not the live action one.
Do you mean Moana?
Mulan.
Wait, they have magic in there?
Yeah, the dragon. They have a full dragon.
Oh, that's right.
Dragon.
That's right. They have Mushu. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like all ghosts, ancestors.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Heavily influenced from Asia and a lot of culture over there, obviously, because it's set there.
Exactly.
But it's pretty interesting. I think that's the only one that I'm personally like. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
just dragons.
They go a little in depth into like the Frozen magic and stuff like that in the second movie, but like it's still just kind of weird.
Yeah, and one note on Mulan, I did not watch the live action because I heard that it was supposed to be like based in reality, but they just had magic, and I was like, well, that's dumb.
Yeah,
so I didn't watch it.
That's fair. Yeah, so overall, like, there's not a lot of really cool. I mean, there's some decent Disney magic, but like at the same time, it's not super in depth. Not like anything else we talked about, which is okay. That's not what Disney's for. They're for making money and entertaining children. So I mean, don't get me wrong. Adults can enjoy it too, guys. Sorry.
Adults can enjoy it, but I don't know if you should, as much as some people do.
But
they're okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay if you do. We both totally enjoy weird stuff. So
that's true. We can't really say anything.
Yeah, absolutely not. But we have. Check out our first episode if you want to see some weird stuff. Oh
gosh, yeah, that one was really fun. I enjoyed that one.
Definitely.
Well, now I definitely have a lot more stuff to read or watch.
I do too.
Just so that I can learn all the fun stuff. I don't know if I want to start One Piece and look into
if you read it, it's actually not as much as you would think. And you can read it online.
Right.
There's a lot of places.
Do you think it's faster to read it than to watch it?
It's way faster
and
to read it.
And do you like reading it more than watching it? Or?
I like watching it, but only in the Japanese voice acting.
Okay.
Because the Japanese voice actors, they're really good. I like them. But the English ones, the main character is played by the same person who played Ash Ketchum.
Oh.
And I just can't get that out of my head.
Oh, no.
And it bothers me. Well, at least in the earlier seasons. I don't know if they changed.
Dude.
But I was like, I watched too much Pokemon for this to...
For real. I didn't ever really watch a lot of Pokemon as a kid. Yeah. Anime's been more of a recent thing for me.
Yeah.
So
I think it has for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was one of the early people. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid. Very interesting show.
I liked a lot of the older cartoons when I was younger, like Voltron. Voltron was a huge one for
I've
me.
never seen
the
Voltron.
original one.
I watched a lot of Power Rangers, which
Power Rangers. Yep, we watched a lot of Power Rangers too.
I don't know if that's technically a magic system, but it's kind of funny to think of it as one.
Hold on. Let's think about it. No, it's just technology.
Well, okay, but like, some of them do have magic, and the bad guys have magic. They grow true. Like giant for some reason in every single episode. I would be very impressed if somebody can find me a Power Rangers episode that doesn't have them growing big, and send a link to the Twitter if you can.
There you go. Get us if you can find more than one. Get it to all the episodes where they don't.
And we will watch it and we will review it.
We will talk about it. There we go.
Yeah, we'll review the episodes.
We'll review the episodes. Cool. Well, that's all I think that we had for today.
That's I think all we had. Thanks for listening. As always, this has been the Nerdcast. Oh, the Nerd Agenda. The Nerd Agenda.
Nerdcast. We're not stealing names. At least we didn't think we were. I don't know. Yeah, no, we're not stealing names. This is the Nerd Agenda. We love you guys. Thank you for listening.
See you next time.
And we'll see you next episode.